5.5 minutes to 12. The new one for Waddell Smith and Carnaby's Gone Away. Bye-bye. Much more music on 4IP and the Pozo Seco Singers. And look what you've done.
This is Radio DJ.
It pays to listen, but not to work here.
Here come the Twilights from Melbourne. And baby, you've got some groovy soul. Oh, that's better. You want to sing that way? Oh, that's a wonderful experiment. It wouldn't be a hit record, fellas. So would you just like to pick up your guitars and get in the corner again, and I'll give you the countdown? Are you ready? Get set. Hit it. 1, 2, 3, go. The Twilights from Melbourne. And you got soul. It's 5 minutes after 12. There's a follow-up to Needle in a Haystack, Twilights, and baby, you've got soul. The time is 7 after 12.
Thanks for giving our way while you're going your way. Always drive with care and radio 4IP 1010.
What a better way to spend a holiday than on the tropic island in the sun. Enchanting London Island is ideal for those young adults and professional people who want light-hearted fun and beauty in a relaxed and a gentle way. Only 10 miles off the coast of Queensland, beautiful Indy rises out of the warm Peacock Sea of the famous Whitsunday Passage. It's fringed by coral reefs, brilliant and colorful. Has lazy palm trees and tropical hibiscus. Blue skies, sunny days, and cool tropical nights make this the island you've always longed to get away from it all. Beautiful Lindeman Island. The friendly people of Lindeman will do everything possible, help you to arrange private picnics, special cruises, fishing excursions, or just about anything you want to do. You'll arrive home sun-soaked, rested, healthy, and full of the stories and memories of your wonderful Lindeman Leilani, the Lindeman Island on the Great Barrier Reef. If you'd like to find out more about this wonderful Leilani holiday, I suggest you contact your nearest Ansett A&A travel agent in Ipswich, Hunter and Stockwell, Nolan's Corner Pharmacy, or the Ipswich Travel Center, and have a wonderful time at Lindeman Island.
Vietnam. The time is fast approaching 12 noon. You've been listening to David Greenwood from 4IP Brisbane. Don't forget to be listening at 12 o'clock for request. With Hounslowe and Allen from RDJ Sydney.
Radio DJ Vietnam. Action Audio now presents Hounslowe and Allen from RDJ Sydney and your favorites.
Hi, and welcome once again to another program with Arthur Cameron.
And Alan, well, you didn't think you were going to get a word in edgewise there, did you, first?
No, I didn't. I thought you were going to sort of ramble on and I wouldn't get a word in.
Listen, before we do anything at all,
Yes,
we have to call David Anderson of Maryland in Sydney. Now, any of you chaps listening to this program and you know of a David Anderson who comes from Maryland in Sydney, please call him to this program so he can listen to a very important message.
And we'll be playing that later on in the show.
We'll be playing
and we just definitely want him to hear it, whatever they can do, don't we?
Yes.
Please.
All right?
Okay, then.
How have you been?
Oh, absolutely marvellous. I went to a beautiful little place tonight for drinks. Have you ever heard of the Mariners Club?
I can't say I have.
Oh, it's rather beautiful. Run by the Carlton Rex, and we went there for a few drinks tonight, and it's done out like an old ship inside, and beautiful brass lanterns and lobster bowls and things like that inside. It's only new.
Yeah, the only place I know in town is a good drink is the first and last.
Oh, that's terrific, isn't it? Have you been to the Hero of Waterloo yet?
Not really, no.
So what does any of the boys know about that? It's the oldest pub in Sydney in the Rocks area.
Which
The
one?
absolutely oldest pub in Sydney. Tremendous.
What's it called?
The Hero of Waterloo. I wonder if any of you boys remember that sort of, I suppose it brings back memories of it does. They're all little old ladies and men who, but it's funny because they sit back at the piano and sing If You Knew Susie. It's fabulous time.
Well, listen, we better get on with
Yeah?
the first request. We're calling Sid Young.
And we've got here the Elizabethan Serenade by Ron Goodwin for you. Elsie?
Serenade. Ron Goodwin and his concert orchestra on
Elsie, yo.
on parlophone.
On telephone.
I was determined to get that in.
Yeah, who's on telephone, Elsie or Ron Goodwin?
The Elizabethan Serenade. The recording of Ron Goodwin. Ron Goodwin's not on the record either.
Oh, isn't he?
No.
Oh,
Didn't you know?
No, I'm most surprised.
Oh. Right, this is Radio DJ in Sydney.
Yeah, with the Alan and Osler show.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah, I do. It's cute.
Yes, all right. Well, the next one is for Charlie Stone.
Charlie Stone, and it's Hang On Sleepy by the McCoys, which was very, very popular at one stage here, and lots and lots of versions came out. So I don't know whether you remember this, Alan, but many versions of it came out, but the McCoys is the most popular. Anyhow, Hang On Sleepy for Charlie Stone.
This might be the first time I've ever heard it.
Hang On, Sloopy, the McCoys. That was for you, Charlie Stone.
Do you like that?
Yeah, and do you feel that your education has sort of been added to slightly after hearing that for the first time?
No.
You don't?
No.
Oh. Charlie, I think we ought to gang up on Alan here.
Pretty ignorant,
About
I am.
time.
I'll tell you what I do dig. Music like that one that Sid Young had.
Yeah, that was beautiful. I really love that.
Find my way of playing.
You were surprised to know that I like that, weren't you?
I was very surprised.
And then you caught me unawares saying that I liked it.
This is Radio DJ in Sydney. You're listening to the program with Osler Cameron and Alan Borg, and we play all your requests here. So if you have any requests, well, why don't you put them down on a piece of paper and send them to Radio DJ, 23 Middleton Avenue, North Bondi, New South Wales.
Marvellous. You can take a breath now.
Australia. Right. Bob Ryan, here it is. Splish. Splash. Reminds me of the time I took a bath.
I was taking a bath, gone about a Saturday night. Rubber soap, kissing like the miniskirt, thinking everything was alright. But I stepped out the tub, put my feet on the floor. I wrapped the towel around me and I opened the door. And then, splish, splash, I jumped back in the bath. Well, I was the golden and the cooler, moving and a grooving, rocking and the stomping.
We were caught unaware then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Splish splash.
You know what? The water ran out.
Yeah.
From the
I don't know why it reminds you of the time you had a bath, because it reminds me of the time when the roof's leaking.
Put it this way, it reminds me of Christmas. What?
Oh,
Yeah.
Alan, no wonder.
I'm glad Christmas is over. The bath was murder.
I'm glad Christmas is coming again. Thank heaven.
Yes, it's only 300 and odd, few odd days.
It comes that regularly, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it's pretty regular, like, yeah. Right.
Cousin Kent looks funny there. Notice he's been a lot more silent in the last couple
Yes,
of minutes.
there's a glass between him and
Yeah.
He can't hear us.
It's absolutely riot. Especially when it's speckled with white paint. It looks like the speckles are all over him.
That's a dirty glass. Didn't notice anything new in Sydney?
New in Sydney?
Yes.
Well,
No, I was just wondering if you've noticed anything new. I haven't noticed anything.
yes, there's the new Wentworths that I've mentioned.
Oh, yes. You know all about the booze joints, yes?
I love them. I think they're fun. It's not just because I'm sort of
Booze.
a mad boozy. Or I think they're fun to go haunting and finding out all the old places.
Marvellous. Have you tried Leo Buing's cellar?
Yes, that's fabulous, isn't it? Mother's, no, what is it called? It's the old crust.
The old crusty
Yeah,
cellar,
that's the cheesecake. Have you tried the cheesecake?
I love the cheese.
We have something in common, Alan, the
Yes,
cheesecake.
yes. But I think you're thinking about the wrong kind of cheesecake. Wayward
Bill
Molnar, hiya, Bill.
And Frank Ifield singing The Wayward Wind.
Love that cheesecake.
Oh, the wayward wind. A restless wind that yearns to wander, and I was born the next of kin to the wayward wind. I'm a next of kin to the wayward wind.
Field with the Norrie Paramore Orchestra on CBS, The Wayward Wind,
I've
and
got something exciting to say.
Hang on, I haven't finished. Frank Ifield, and that was for Bill Molnar.
I know Frank Ifield.
Sorry for the interruption, Bill, but you know
Did you know that?
how women are.
I've met Frank Ifield, and I know him very well. He's an Australian, of course.
You have?
Yes.
Why didn't you tell me?
Oh, I didn't think you'd be interested. I mean, you could keep telling me I interrupt all the time. Well, I want to tell you these little things, Alan, and you never
Very
listen.
good.
But I do. Yeah. Did you know he sang at one of my school concerts, and my mother, we booked him for the school concert. My father and mother booked him for it, and he came over to our place that night. And Mum said, well, look, you ought to go to England, because my mother's sort of one of these type people who sort of pushes people into doing things when she thinks they've got talent. And he said, well, I am going anyway, because I really want to go. And that's how he did I Remember You, his first song. Because he wrote us and sent me a free copy of his first record out.
Too much?
Oh,
Too
isn't that
much?
exciting?
Oh, marvellous.
Are you glad I interrupted?
No.
Oh. All right, then.
Tell me about wine.
Yes?
The,
Go on, you
how many little copies? Oh, you want to share copies? All right.
Yeah, I
Share
will.
copies.
Can I see copies?
Yes, with me.
You've got the original.
Yes. Carlton and Queen Street. 3 on a couch.
Oh. The
Just
George.
like that, you know.
In George Street, The Great Race, Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis, which I might add out of personal review here, you know, I sort of write a small review every now and again. It is fabulous, absolutely
Good. Make it very small. The Metro on Albert Street.
Shoot, thanks.
Dr.
You'll come down with you too.
We haven't got much time, you know.
Oh,
This
how
is why
sad. Odeon, Queen Street, Carry On Cowboys, Sidney James and Joan Finn.
And, this is a great film, this. The Paris in Albert Street has the magnificent men in their flying machine. What a show. What a laugh.
Region in Queen Street, How to Steal a Million.
The new one of
We only knew.
You finished? Have you finished talking while I answer up again?
You're madly talking
Good.
about magnificent men.
Right. Elvis Presley with his new one, Paradise Hawaiian Style, is on at the Winter Garden in Queen Street.
Yes, and the Rex in the Valley, The Sound of Music with Julie Andrews. Julie Andrews, I might add, is a small favourite here of Mr. Alan Ball.
Glad I've got on with it. The live theatres, Mark Twain Theatre Restaurant, Sweeney Todd. Never
Isn't
know.
it?
I don't
bet
know.
you don't know.
No, I don't know.
And Her Majesty's is A Funny Girl.
And
Mendes, of course.
the Avalon Theatre, this must be a suburb, St. Lucia.
Oh, yeah. The Lucky Street. Oh, I haven't heard of that one.
Well, we've got all that over and done with. We'll
Yeah.
move on with the next one, which is a country and western tune.
I can't stop loving you. That's the funniest thing.
So with, ooh, look at there, ain't she pretty?
Ain't she pretty, boy? Ooh, ain't that chick a beauty? Yes, 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 boy. I love her hair. I love her clothes. I love her. She's scared a load of her pose. Ooh, look at her. She's pretty, oh, you're such a twinkle little doll. Yeah.
And a great bit of music to get the show underway. That was Buddy Greco with Ooh, Look at There, Ain't She Pretty. And listen, fellas, don't forget to stick around because we have Osler and Alan, Lara and the Fox. Now, as Alan Borg said, this is should be a pretty great show. They've put a lot of work into it, and I can vouch for it because I was out with them the other night doing it. And John Murphy, Pops, Imports, etc. Greg Lewis with his nice and easy show, and, of course, Kent with classical cameos. And now, let's slow the tempo down a bit with Miss Dione Warwick and Wishin' and Hopin'.
If you see me walking down the street and I start to cry, you carry me. Walk on by. Walk on by.
Even the best of the shows have their faults, and that was my first blue anyway. I made a great big blue. That was Walk On By instead of Wishing and Hoping. Anyway, not to worry about that. I had the pleasure this week of going out with Lara and the Fox to the state swimming titles which are being held at Des Moines Pool. And I saw them interview such people as Michael Wendon, John Bennett, Lynn Bell, who Fox was very, very impressed with, let me tell you, and Miss Jan Murphy, and Christine Deeks, and a great lot of swimmers. Anyway, they've got these interviews on their show, and you'll probably hear them, well, sometime in on anyway. I'm not too sure exactly when it'll be, but they're very good. And now, let's go on with the Shadows with In the Mood. That was In the Mood by the Shadows. That was a song that was made famous, not a song, it's a piece of music made famous by Glenn Miller many years ago. Probably well known by some of the older fellas up there. Anyway, whilst we're in the mood, let's have Eddie Fisher with They Call the Wind Mariah. Way out here they got a name for rain and wind and fire. Set for fires go, and they call the wind Mariah. Mariah, They Call the Wind Mariah. That's a song that's usually left to the folk singers to sing, but it certainly had justice done to it there by Eddie Fisher. Well, fellas, that takes us up for this week. That's the fastest half hour I've ever done so. On behalf of my panel of John Murphy out there, and this is John Cox here, saying thanks for being with us, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye now.
Radio DJ. Time 9:30 and a half.
The Australian PX is now open during normal working hours for patients and other personnel unable to be present at the normal trading times. These times are 4 to 5 and 6:30 to 8 p.m. daily. Make sure you, however, before visiting the PX, have your ID and PX ration card. The Australian PX now open 6 days a week for you.
Radio DJ, Vietnam. Time 9:31.
Radio DJ presents the Stuart Booth Show. Are you bad? That's what they're saying. If you hear somebody knocking on your door, see somebody crawling across the floor, then it'll be me. Yeah, I'll be looking for you. Yeah, I'll be looking for you. I'll be looking for you. Gas record to commence the program today. And how are you all going? The sound of Cliff Richard there, a little song called It'll Be Me. Sorry about the coughing, but I've had a pretty bad case of deliriousness lately. We went to a party, a two-stage party on Friday night, and got pretty stoned and everything, and I'm still recovering. I've managed to bludge a couple of free tickets from the old 2CH Wireless, and I'm going to pop along in about 6 days' time to see the big Roy Orbison show with the Walker Brothers and the Yardbirds and Johnny Young and Company and a host of fantastic stars down at Sydney Stadium. So possibly next week we'll be able to tell you how things go and what the show is like. They're expecting the bookings are pretty good at the moment, so it sounds like a pretty good show lined up for Johnny Young and Roy Orbison and the mob down at the stadium. The Stuart Booth Show, starring Stuart Booth. I don't like the look of it.
I don't like the feel of it.
Well, we can't change it now. It's only one we got. What's the thing about that, baby? John Dennison, discovering what people really do think of the Stuart Booth Show. Madam, what would you like to say about the Stuart Booth Show?
Well, I suppose it's all right in its way if you like that sort of thing. Well, I mean, I don't know much about it, I'm afraid. I can't say I'm fussy one way or the other, really. I mean, if the balloon goes up, it goes up, doesn't it? Why worry?
Nothing like an honest opinion about the Stuart Booth Show. I've got a record here which I think you might be interested to hear. It's one by the McCoys. You may remember they had a pretty big record out called Hang On Sloopy not long ago. And this is one that was released, well, actually it wasn't released in Sydney at all, and I always thought it was a pretty good record. It wasn't released in Sydney, and you can't buy it even if you want to. I got a special copy of it. Why, I don't know, but it's not a bad song. It's called Don't Worry, Mother. Good song from the McCoys, I think. It would have been released on Parlophone, but it never got off the ground out here. I think it would have been a hit if it had, if it got a bit of airplay, but it's a song called Don't Worry, Mother. Now, one of the funny people down here, sort of standing around watching me sort of talk words on the wireless down here, said, describe the studio. Now, I wouldn't know why you'd want to do this. Anyway, well, it's got a desk, you know, and there's a lot of junk on it, and there's a thing over there called Talkback, and there's a marvelous light up there, and there's another odd-looking speaker over there, so that's the situation here. And, what was that? Yes, well, there's a rather rude notice on the wall, but we won't go into that now.
Ooh, whoopee.
That's it, good. I
was the vaguest thing I've done for years, so I'll tell you something which is quite true now. I don't know why I had to do it. I'll see John about that later. Isn't it interesting to know that more than 1,500 versions of Beatle-written songs have been released in Sydney? Isn't that a gas? Right, play a record, John, will you? Drive your heart to be a man. Oh, it's easy. A man. Got a lie in it. Flipside of Friday on my mind. I made my bed, now I gotta lie in there. Seems instead like I'm gonna die in there. Where did I go wrong? I tried so hard to leave. I tried so hard to South the Easy Beats, the Australian group, currently in England, and the flip side of the record, which we all know, is the beaut song called Friday on My Mind, which is getting a lot of airplay and doing very well overseas.
What are we going to do with Stuart and what are we going to do when they come down again? What are we going to do? We're going to tie them up with strings. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to tie them up with strings.
Well, you could laugh about that, wouldn't you? Isn't that groove? Would you believe? Can I tell him who it is? That's the good old John Denham's mother. Just showing you what a pretty groove she is. She's a bit of a swinger. She's about, 50 in the shade, but she swings. Boy, and this is the main thing these days. We say we play 2 Elvis Presley records, and we will. This one from Elvis, a released on Aussie, and called Hound Dog, baby. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. Cry no more time. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. Cry no more time. Well, you ain't never corner. You ain't no friend of mine. Oh, dear. Can't help a thing. Hang on. Right.
We're trying to get that under control, like.
Right. It's the sound of the steward booth go. Oh, this can't be love. Sound of Brenda and Johnny, who I believe are on together, but I don't make many records, which is the main thing. Well, I'm going to go pretty soon because I promised to go home and see Mumsy.
I am very worried about my son.
Yes, I think she's got good reason to be worried, too. I think we'd better go because I think time for the national tape machine's going to start backing up in a minute.
This show has been made possible by the close coordination of man and machine and was dedicated to the preservation and use of the electronic wireless and associated biograph and phonographic equipment. It was produced and packaged by JAB and SB Enterprises and directed by that man of many Ken Thornhill. Specialized segmentation came to you with the compliments of the National Defense Department. We wish to thank you and our countless millions for their most devoted service. Good night and thank you.
DJ Vietnam. The time, 1 minute to...
Radio DJ News of the Week.
Here are the news headlines. Canberra. Premier Key arrives in Australia. After making a brief stopover at Darwin, Premier Key officially arrived at Fairburn Airport, Canberra, to be greeted by the Prime Minister, Mr. Holt, his wife, and government officials. The much-publicised planned demonstrations led by the leader of the opposition, Arthur Caldwell, have so far caused little more than a ripple in the national. But the party's most hardcore followers have publicly shunned and denounced Mr. Caldwell for his actions. Meanwhile, Premier Key's image as far as the Australian public is